define myopic paradigm. I'm going to share with you a video that came out on the quantum mechanics of photosynthesis. A myopic paradigm is extreme short-sightedness, usually in some kind of assumption that we understand the way something is or the way something works. We make, we just assume that something that's been handed to us is the framework in which our observations have to fit. I am telling you, we're going to watch this video here by Neurosurfer, I believe. Incredible, the feats that science is making in terms of microbiology, particularly in plants, and of course in animals too. You look at photosynthesis, and I'll give my commentary as we go through, but the conclusion that this stuff just randomly happened by accident because of the institutionalized religious system that was handed to us by actually a theologian who played scientist. You hearing me? A theologian who played scientist. He is a flunky. He flunked out of all science classes that he took. He didn't think mathematics or statistics had any use for biology. So he went and got a theology degree and invented the religion which you and I have inherited in our public education systems today. And I am here to tell you that that is definitely a myopic paradigm, and that the founders of the sciences that developed these fields originally were not incorrect when they said this is intelligently designed. They could see it when the microscopes had a tiny amount of clarity compared to what we have now. The advanced ability to be able to peer into the tiniest details in 2024 is blowing their minds. So let's watch this video and I'll give a little commentary. But we're going to watch the magical leaf. Neurosurfer, a very well done video until we get to his conclusions. The magical leaf.
The leaf, it turns out, is a remarkable piece of technology. Light lands on a leaf in quantum energy packets called photons. Every second it spends in bright sunlight brings a leaf thousands of trillions of photons. And almost every one of the red ones is captured and its energy processed. Let's trace the path of that energy through the plant. The first stop is the antenna, an assembly of hundreds of thousands of chlorophyll molecules. Hit by the photon, an electron within the chlorophyll.
Now I'm going to pause it. That's grossly oversimplified, of course, but a beautiful overall wide field of view rendition of kind of what's going on. You look at the precision engineering of these photosystems, and on the smaller level, like the way that the chlorophyll is very specifically engineered with these giant ribbons of proteins hanging off of it, and now you have the magnesium in the center and the nitrogens that act very similarly, strangely, to how another language is written from the above that we have in our ancient texts. And you see the function of some of these components had been known for thousands of years. That's a whole nother discussion. We do that on Patreon. But these photosystems are very complex. So what you're seeing here is much the way that a lot of science was presented to me when I was in school, which is a gross oversimplification. Gross, just like the cloudy view through a kind of not that good microscope, where I see a blob, I don't really see what's happening inside there. But when you look at, if you look at a college botany textbook that's very well illustrated and look at the precision engineering of just chlorophyll, how exactly does it divide the photons and direct the energy with almost perfect efficiency across a substrate of all the stuff going on in these photosystems to the other side? He's going to explain just a little bit of that.
Let's trace the path of that energy through the plant. The first stop is the antenna, an assembly of hundreds of thousands of chlorophyll molecules. Hit by the photon, an electron within the chlorophyll will become excited and use the extra energy to bounce through the antenna to a bridging area. This is composed of a complicated arrangement of chlorophyll molecules. You can imagine it as an intertwined maze of roped bridges that, if you can find the path through, lead to the all-important reaction center. Once at the reaction center, the electron creates a permanently separated charge that is essentially energy that can be stored. It's the same thing that makes a fully charged battery such a useful source of power. At that point, the energy is safe and properly stored, ready for use by the plant. There's just one catch. The reaction center is a nearly impossible place to reach. Getting through the bridging area is a nightmare, and it has to be done quickly. The maze of wobbly rope bridges will absorb all the photon's energy if it takes too long to find the reaction center. A packet of energy has about 1 nanosecond to get across the bridge. Some might chance upon the right path and make it through in time. Most, though, won't. This is where the quantum tricks and Gregory Scholl's research team comes in. Their conclusion? Our results suggest that the energy of absorbed light resides in 2 places at once. This weird phenomenon is officially known as quantum superposition. It is written into the mathematics of quantum theory, which describes the position of a particle only in terms of probabilities of finding it in various different places. In certain circumstances, the particle can...
I'll pause it real quick here. He's talking about the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Light behaves in a way that still confounds most physicists. And if you study the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, that's kind of what's at play here. You have quantum tunneling. So the photons strike a leaf. It hits these photoreaction centers, but that energy has to be transferred very specifically to a spot to be stored, the photoreaction center 2. And if you look at other things like even hemoglobin in the blood, a lot of these same mechanisms are very similarly constructed with different specifications. Instead of a magnesium in the very center of the molecule, you have an iron molecule, okay, which I think is element 26. Interesting number. But like you can look at how this is put together, and it's transferring the energy of the photon. That energy that when it strikes a leaf, it creates kind of a vibrational energy is one way you could explain it. When it strikes the leaf, that's how my botanist explained it when I went through botany in college. But that has to be transferred all the way across all this huge complex network of different things that are in the way. And what they're finding out is that through quantum tunneling, what you have is that the light energy is taking a path around what we perceive to be 3-dimensional space and is going through superdimensional space. It's taking another path beyond that to get to the other side. And it's happening either like immediately, or in some cases, if you study Heisenberg, sometimes the particle shows up before it gets sent. Now explain that one using your, failed view of physics. And that's something that they couldn't do in the old days because Charles Darwin, the guy who basically handed us our paradigm to interpret all, when we make these types of observations, if you're stuck to an antiquated paradigm from a flunky who couldn't pass basic science classes, and he came at it with a theological angst with an agenda to shoot down what his father had kind of pushed him through. And if you read the history of the guy who handed us this paradigm, it comes more clear. He had a vendetta. He had political reasons and personal reasons, and some of them were probably legitimate. You know how people can be, in the church world. But man, I'll tell you what a mistake it was for us to just adopt the rantings of a guy who had a vendetta against religion. And so he hands us a new religion where this stuff cannot be explained through his paradigm. It can't. when you look at the precision, anyone who designs things, I was an engineer in a few different fields. Do you know how unlikely it would be to go to Pluto and find a set of sunglasses on Pluto? And this is infinitely more simple than a photoreaction center in a plant. Infinitely, like this is ridiculously, you have a couple of screws, you have these, you have some rubber, and you have a transparent material here. I wish I can put this on and look cool or whatever, right? So like this is sunglasses. Very simple. If you found this on Pluto, are you telling me that this formed over millions and millions and millions and billions and trillions and zillions and right? How much time do you need for this to just happen on accident on Pluto? Now, yes, I know that it's frozen and it probably wouldn't have time to flow into place or whatever, right? And of course I know. But think about it. Go to Mars. Put this out in the desert. How long is this going to happen on Earth with all the available pre-existing biomaterials from existing systems that are done now and in the process of being reused by other biological systems? How long is it going to take for a pair of sunglasses to form out in the Sahara Desert? Wind blew for bazillions of years and formed a clear lens on one side. And then symmetrically, due to a cactus that wasn't there, this side, blew and it reflected a mirror image. And then these, and this screw was a protrusion of steel shooting through this volcanic vent, but it corkscrewed its way up because of that. Just find the screw. Happen on chance. It's obvious someone invented this and designed it. It's obvious. Not even a crazy person would find a pair of sunglasses in the middle of the Sahara Desert and figure, it must have formed by chance because I didn't see what happened. You'd have to be on an extreme bender to come up with that conclusion just because of your zealous hatred for the organization that had, that you were displeased with, right? And I understand those things, but it's not that I don't understand the position of having a rough time at, private school or whatever. Let's continue the video here. I'm going to back up a little bit.
Multiple positions at once. And it turns out that to achieve the remarkable efficiency of photosynthesis, algae and their evolutionary descendants, plants, employ quantum superposition so that the energy can simultaneously travel along all possible paths to the reaction center. That way, it always gets there on time. As far as we understand it, when a photon of sunlight hits a leaf, its energy is passed to electrons within the leaf's chlorophyll molecules. Those excited electrons move to the reaction center not by random hops, as was thought, but by exploiting their quantum mechanical ability to take all available paths at the same time. It's such an exciting discovery because it raises the possibility that we could do the same. If the messy world of biology can exploit this quantum mechanical trick to the maximum by evolutionary trial and error, perhaps we can deliberately engineer the same feats to occur in our own solar panels.
Yeah, this is where it's derailed. Like, come on, man. How can we just don't see it right now? This particular individual who made this video may very well snap out of that deal at some point, like so many other people have. There's an intelligent design, obviously, extremely beyond space alien technology design in plants. It takes all paths at the same time. The energy, from the photon to go to the photoreaction center. So if you look at the Heisenberg deal and the spacing, and you consider the spacing, the precision spacing that is needed to have light energy split and do its thing, I'm going to put it like that. Why do I put it like that? Because they have no idea, and they try to hide behind their words to hide that. We have no idea some of the most basic things that happen just in your lawn. your lawn, and you know how difficult it is to get rid of the food that grows in your lawn, like the dandelions, which is the, the food that you buy at Walmart with your fancy salad, right? It's a self-reproducing part of a system for a food source for you and me that was put here by an insanely omnipotent, like perfect engineer who you can't even hardly get rid of it. You can't, because it is so incredibly engineered, it reproduces itself. Invent me a spaceship or a drone or a computer that can just reproduce and can learn its environment and adjust its settings automatically on the same level that plants do. Okay? So this paradigm we have inherited is quite silly when you back up with a wide field of view and really look at things with a wide field of view. And this paradigm, this short-sightedness, this myopic paradigm that we have inherited, tell you what, we need to reconsider. A good scientist will not be religiously opposed to other potential explanations. Did you know that? A good scientist will be open-minded, but also skeptical. Is this better explained by intelligent design? Yes, absolutely. Well, then who made that? It's a very good question. All right, but in order to study those things, they have to go into areas and use tools that they refuse to go and observe and use those tools in. So part of the scientific process is to explore the possibility and make an observation. If you refuse to make an observation because of a religious disposition that what Mrs. So-and-so taught you in 3rd grade has to be true because that's what I believe. If your third grade teacher has to be true because that's what you believe, if you believe in the science, capital T, capital S, the science, as an institution of stated beliefs of the elite class, of the modern parlance priest class, okay, just admit it. You're in a religion too, man. Welcome. You know, my religion's different than yours. My God is quite different than yours. Mine is the God of life. What's your God? Incredible. I think it's incredible. What do you guys think? Just curious. Watch this video again, but look at the assumption that, well, if sloppy nature, what are you talking about? It's precision engineered. It's only sloppy if you give it a sloppy glance. You did not spend enough time in the woods. You certainly did not spend enough time looking through a microscope or studying some of these incredibly well-designed mechanisms. They skipped past the whole electron transport chain. They just kind of showed a gross overview. Just study that one. Look at the mission. Look at the mechanics of the ATP synthase. We're trying to figure out how it uses this transmission to convert the torque. And it goes in reverse and it has several gears with bearings for the proton pump. That's so tiny, it's like really tiny. We can't build stuff like this yet. The only way you can build it is to plant your garden. And guess what? You're not building it. It's simply reproducing itself from preordained perfect blueprints. We need to take one more look at the universe, guys. By the way, what does that word mean? Single verse, spoken sentence, single spoken. And God said, let there be, and there it was. Talk about short-sightedness, right? So I'm here to encourage you guys to take another look at things. If you think AI is advanced intelligence, then you ain't been around that much. I'm telling you, AI is not advanced intelligence compared to a bumblebee. It's not, or an ant. The brain of an ant or a bumblebee will smoke AI. in a much tinier package, and it self-repairs, self-replicates. You could turn loose some bumblebees out in the field and they'd be fine thousands and thousands of years later. Do that with your iPhone or whatever. It's not going to work. Lay your laptop out there. It needs desperate help. We have such clunky, terrible, slow, cartoon level, crayon broken half, tearing the paper level engineering compared to the elite perfect blueprints of the Most High. Check it out. If you like this discussion, I rant about this all the time on Patreon. You can come over and enjoy the fellowship there, man. We have a good time. And we talk about this every day. But I hope you enjoyed this video here on YouTube to encourage you a little bit that, hey, there's more going on than the government school system would like you to believe, okay? Why would they do that? Why would they want you to inherit this paradigm that we are just a cosmic fart and there's no omnipotent, perfect creator? Why? Well, then who's the next best thing? Well, they've created a system for you to have your gods here called the royalty class. They want to be God, and they don't get that job as long as we believe there's actually a real one around. That's as simple as it is. They want to be the priests, but they want to make their own rules, see? Pretty funny, isn't it? Yeah. All right, you guys have a wonderful day. Take care. Rex out.